Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness and Have It Your Way workouts. So today, I'm going to throw you a curveball here on Have It Your Way workouts. Some of you know that we do a deep dive into one exercise at a time, just one. But today the curveball is going to be two exercises because I really believe that it's very important to work an osteoporotic site, the wrist forearm area. So I'm going to do this today by way of both wrist flexion and wrist extension. Now the accessories we're going to be using today, sticky yoga mat. You can sit on a chair, you don't have to be on a stability ball, but I chose it because it challenges my balance. And so I am a little bit above 5'6". The ball is 65 centimeters. Now I'll also be using two different exercise loops. So when you work with a loop or a band, you want to hold it up to the light and just make sure there's no little pinhole because it could snap and really hurt you when it snaps into the skin. Now also on the exercise loops, I have attached handles, and these are made by Cardio. I love them. I have them in my Amazon store. They're really helpful for work like this. Additionally, I'm working with two sets of weights, 8-pounders and 12-pounders. And finally, to show you some hand grips that I like a lot. And why? Because, hey, I broke my wrist. And it'll be 2 years ago, April, that I shattered or broke. No, it was in bad shape though. The scaphoid carpal bone of the wrist. So I chose not to do surgery, and I had 3 opinions, and the final opinion was someone who is really well respected in the Miami area, as she is the hand surgeon for the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Heat. Good enough for me, folks. With my activity level, I wanted somebody who got me, and she did. So unfortunately, what was originally done when I had the broken wrist is they put a cast all the way up to my elbow joint. That meant I couldn't fully flex the elbow, bend the elbow. Therefore, I was kind of useless here for training. Now, I once was diagnosed with osteoporosis. It was when I turned 60 years old. But by 63 and a half, it was 3.5 hard years of lots of strength training, really pristine, whole food plant exclusive diet, and I was able to downgrade the diagnosis to age-appropriate osteopenia. So with that third opinion that I had gotten from that hand surgeon, she happened to have been the mentor and teacher of this partnering team of hand surgeons I was working with. And she had agreed with me that, you know, I can't hold weights. I'm going to get osteoporosis again. And she said, yes, you will. So you do need to keep up your strength training. So folks, this is where I brought in the loops, especially bands and tubes, but a lot of loop work. And what we did is she told me to ask them to cut that cast by 2.5 inches. And then I was able to wrap that loop around that exposed portion just below the elbow. So then I could do all my work I needed to do unilaterally, one arm at a time with nothing in the hand. I bring it up because I'm telling you, it's all doable if you find a way. Don't give up on yourself. If you've got chronic concerns, don't give up. There's a way to approach exercise. We just got to do it safely, right? So now, having talked about all that, we want to get to the medical disclaimers, whatever you want to call them, precautionary measures. And do note that the ball, the mat, and the exercise loop are made from some latex. So if you have a latex allergy, you want to look for non-latex or latex-free. Also, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, well, you want to avoid this wrist position, which is wrist extension. So if I have my hand on my thigh, it's going to look like this. So it's still wrist extension. Be careful of that. You may have been told that you can do it. That's fine, but I would just err on the side of caution. Also, if you have golfer's elbow, which is medial epicondylitis, tennis elbow, lateral epicondylitis, if you have any back spine issues that you were told not to forward flex the spine, this can include, but not exclusively, okay, osteoporosis and let's say postural deviation like hyperkyphosis, which is that kind of hunched appearance. We want to make sure we keep you folks upright. So maybe what you work on, instead of the thighs that I'm going to do here, because it's going to put me into a forward flexion of the spine, you can work with a table that's a bit higher so you can get your arms up there and just hang off that way so you don't have to bend down. Just, a little bit of an idea. But the point being here, folks, is if you have any chronic concern whatsoever, no matter what, then I would advise you to preview my videos first before participating. Look for what you can do, because we get real good at knowing what we can't do later in life, and to protect ourselves, that's smart. However, we get too narrow with our vision. We want to broaden the perspective to include what you can do. But if you're still not sure after previewing the video, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well, and then help you make an informed decision. So now, it is the radiocarpal joint that is affected by the work, and the muscles of the hands are going to include forearm muscles, wrist muscles that go into the fingers. So that's why I do like working with these hand grips. I'll do a set here, maybe together, but especially because what you see is my right wrist, which is really my real left wrist. This one really needs more attention still, but it's doing great, folks. It's doing really well. And just a few reminders now. So you always want to feel free when you're working out. This won't be a full workout at all, but just always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to, but don't quit. That's not an invitation to quit. You rest, come back in for one more repetition at least, and this is how you can get stronger. Also, keep yourselves hydrated when you're training, drinking water, that's what I know about. And but if you have kidney, bladder issues, you may have been told, no water, you follow that protocol. That's important. Within the community tab in the channel, we have an article there that I found on the National Institutes of Health's website, and it's all about that radiocarpal joint and the movements, and it discusses the function of the joint, which is basically to assist the hand in ADLs, those very important activities of daily living, particularly for this demographic. Additionally, there's something there that I found cool images of the different movements of the wrist joint. Now, how we're going to do today, because it's going to be a little bit of the different approach here with the two exercises, we're going to perform 5 repetitions of wrist flexion bilaterally, which means both arms at the same time, and then 5 repetitions of both exercises, wrist flexion and extension, 5 repetitions as well, bilaterally. Then what we're going to do is work it unilaterally. So I find that wrist flexion, I can use heavier resistance. So that's where I'm going to use the pink exercise loop. That's on the left arm, my real right. And then on the opposite, for wrist extension, which I find more challenging, particularly for the formerly broken wrist, I want to work it a little bit today extra. So I'm going to use just a little bit of a lighter resistance, but making it work, and it will be the yellow loop. Then we're going to work both wrists, which means bilaterally. So with wrist flexion, I'll be using 12 pounders. With wrist extension, 8 pounders. I hope it makes sense, so let's just get to work for you. So I'm going to turn here a little bit on an angle, lifting up into the balls of my feet. Maybe you have yoga blocks and you want to put the blocks underneath your feet to bring them up a little bit higher. I'm going to rest the hands palms down, which is prone. Now I'm going to bring the elbows and forearms only, not the wrist joint, on the thighs. From here to wrist flexion, when you are prone, you go down and then to neutral. Now, it's very important for carpal tunnel to know not to continue up into wrist extension. We just go to neutral. You exhale on the effort, and you pause at the peak of the contraction. We're going to do one more. Inhale down, exhale up, hold. Now, I'm going to turn the hands supine, face up. No collapsing here, right? Nice long spine. And I'm going to go down to wrist extension to neutral. So carpal tunnel, you need to find out for you if this is appropriate. But in general, it is not. So we're going to go for 2 more repetitions. Inhale down. Here we go. And hold. And now we're going to tie in the exercise loops. So first, I'm going to be in a supine position for wrist flexion. I'm going to take the loop and I'm going to bring it underneath the arch of my sneakers, slide up to the thigh. I'm going to lift up into the balls of the feet. Hold on. I'm going to press down into that left forearm. Now I'm going to go into wrist extension, curling up to flexion. Now, do you have to do that? No. Obviously, for carpal tunnel, you don't want to do that. Pausing. So I'm showing you just different angles here. You can do the work. Last one. Pause right here. Control it down. You don't want to have the loop snap away from you. Now, wrist extension. So I'm going to take this prone, palm down, going underneath the arch of the sneaker, sliding up, getting up into the balls of the feet, making sure that when I do the movement, now let me get that correct. There we go, and down. So I want to make sure that my elbow isn't popping up and down. You want to make sure that elbow is pressed into the thigh, thigh up into the elbow. I'm going to go for one more because I didn't like my first rep. There we go. And release it down. Now, we're going to do wrist flexion, 5 repetitions, bilaterally. I'm using 12 pounders. Lifting up onto the balls of the feet, supine. Here we go. Making sure that elbow doesn't pop up, because then the bicep tries to take over. We've got one more. Curl pause. Easy when you lower the weights down. I'm going to grab 8 pounders for wrist extension. Again, up into the balls of the feet. Don't let your calves nor your heels touch the ball, because that will decrease your balance challenge. So we go up and down. Don't let momentum take over. Sometimes those elbows lift because of momentum. Give it a real stop at the top. Last one. Oh, baby. Okay, I'm going to set them down. So that's what we have for you today here, folks, at Boomer and Beyond Wellness and Have It Your Way workouts. So folks, if you do find that there's some value to my content for you, please, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Basically, if my understanding is correct of YouTube, that the more subscribers, they will release the videos out more. And I'm so sincerely trying to reach people who have chronic concerns and are very timid about training, and I understand why. And I would really like them to know that there is a special chronic concern corner for them here. And so if you could share the content with anyone that you know like that, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Perhaps give it a kind comment and hit that notification bell. And if you are interested in working with me privately, I work virtually, remotely, as a senior fitness consultant, and I do personal training, 60-minute sessions, but I also do the 10-minute have it your way workouts as well. One person, one exercise, unless it's the wrist. And also I do hatha yoga, and the opposite end of the spectrum virtually, prenatal yoga. But on site, which means I go to your home or your office, and I am a licensed massage therapist in the state of Florida, and I work in the Fort Lauderdale, Lauderdale Lakes area. And I also love to give deep tissue massage and Swedish massage, but also my specialty is geriatric massage, and I also do palliative care. So until next time, eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water, and please be well.